Turn it up.
You know, this is rarefied air for our next guest, Joey Jones. Pump that up. I like it.
Big wheels keep on turning.
And he has become a big wheel. Well, he was always a big wheel. I mean, he was one of Bears' boys. And by the way, I called his games in the USFL. It doesn't get much bigger than that. He was a Birmingham Stallion, for crying out loud. Among the many other accomplishments of Joey Jones, he did that too. And Paul Feinbaum, whom we're still waiting. I don't know.
Is he allowed?
Maybe one day we'll get Paul back.
Don't say his name.
This used to be reserved for him. Leonard Skinner was reserved for him. Now, I mean, we're thinking, hey, we'll just float this baby, use it with Saban maybe on occasion. That would Joey Jones qualifies.
He's from Alabama.
He's from Alabama. Played at Alabama. He was a stallion. Man was a stallion.
Heard his
Sing it.
good.
Here we go.
So damn tired.
And now, of course, doing a wonderful job coaching the Jaguars. Coach, listen, I know you're going to be playing ULM coming up real soon. And, this is such a big game on Saturday for you, especially in the wake of the Navy loss. And let me just say this to you up front. I have such empathy for anyone that's taken on the schedule you guys have taken on. In your league, played so tough. I want to say before the Navy game, you had lost 5 games by a total of 12 points. Is that right? Something like that.
That's correct. And 4 of the games by 5 points.
Yeah, I mean,
by 7. And so
yeah,
we've had some heartbreaking losses, and we had some. Texas State, we got them 4th and 24 at the end of the game. They get the first down, and we've had really I've never been through anything like this where literally 3 plays we make, and then we're bowl eligible, and we're up there probably 6-7 wins. So it's been that's been the bad side of it, but the good side is in our first year at Division I, we played everybody's tails off and really played them down to the wire, and beat Western Kentucky, beat Tulane, and beat Kent State, and so we got some Division I wins in our first year. So that's a good thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's where I'm going with this. When you have had that many close losses, to have to play Navy, oh my gosh! I mean, that is like a root canal. And Nehemiah Talola is such a good guy. His program is so fantastic, and I think it's an honor whenever you line up across from a military academy. Anyway, I just do. But for you guys having to prepare for that, I'm thinking. Even though it's ULM and they're just, a 360-degree turn from what Navy was, you're still happy to have the middies in your rearview mirror. Because they are just unbelievable to try to deal with. They really are.
They are. I mean, you look at Notre Dame, they had Notre Dame beat, basically, and, they beat Pittsburgh. And not the only time that they've had trouble on offense this year when their quarterback went out against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky hit the quarterback, hurt him. And then, they beat them. But I mean, you take that quarterback out of the lineup and you got a lot better chance. But they do a heck of a job. It's it's kind of a helpless feeling. It really is. I mean, you do all you can do to prepare and scheme against those guys, and all of a sudden they make an adjustment, and they're around the corner, pitch the ball, going 20 yards down the field, and it's a little demoralizing at times.
I looked at a stat on you guys that sort of boggled the mind. I don't think I've seen it with any other team, Joey. You've been pretty disciplined on defense, and you've actually done a decent job of holding the ball on offense. Yeah. But you're at a stalemate in turnover ratio. You have 11 turnovers, but you've only created 11 turnovers. And I'm guessing those close losses, if just one, you mentioned one play here or there, a fumble, a pick, anything, it's crazy. I don't know that I've seen a team this deep into the season that's level and really with only the number being at 11. That's strange, very strange.
It really is. I think we're tied for 11th in the country on the least amount of turnovers. We haven't created as many, like you're saying. I think we had 33 turnovers last year, which is terrible, and now we had 11. Of course, we have a couple more games to go, but almost a third less right now than what we've had all of last year. So it's there's no doubt we're doing the right things. Even our penalties are cut in half from last year. We're playing smart football. We're not, and that's the encouraging thing and discouraging at the same time because we're playing much smarter. We're keeping ourselves in games. We're not making dumb mistakes, and that's what you want as a coach. You just got to make a play there at the end when it's 4th and 24 or whatever. They got the ball with 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
Like a pass down. So
before we get into tomorrow and the game with ULM, I want to go back because a lot of times people just don't. Coaches feel it. I think probably the players on your team feel it. Maybe some of your fans down in Mobile. I know they're still excited about what you're doing. They should be. That's just the whole karma down there for you and that program is still very good, even with these narrow losses. But you were in position to send that Tennessee game to overtime. And as I look back on that, sometimes a breakthrough, a win against a team like that on that kind of stage can make such a difference. And I know we're not in the shoulda, woulda, coulda business. I know you're not, I'm not. But if and when that does happen for a program like yours, can you kind of put us in perspective on what it would mean to a school like South Alabama?
Oh, it would have meant the world. I mean, that you think about that would have been in every room we had. The score beating Tennessee, would have been remembered forever. I mean, we beat Alabama in basketball 1989, and you hear about it every day almost. And so that'd have been the same type thing for us to beating Tennessee. And by the way, it wouldn't have been in overtime. We were going for 2. So
that's right. I'm sorry. Okay. You wouldn't have got. It was a 7-point game. You know what? That would have been a wise choice, actually. Yeah, it would have been a wise choice.
Like on the road, and they're probably a little better than us, and had a better chance to beat us in overtime. So we felt like that we were going to go for 2. But anyway, it didn't happen. But you're right, though. Having a breakthrough game is. And it's amazing that we haven't gotten that. Now we beat Western, beat Tulane, and beat Kent State, and done some good things. And but like you say, beating a Tennessee could do so much for your program in the future.
All right, you got to deal with this ULM offensive attack. It's spread. They had Colton Browning, they lost him, they got him back. He's such a difference maker for them. They're not totally out of it, but they are a team that felt like they should have won it. They were one of the co-favorites coming in with Louisiana Lafayette. Give me your concerns about Saturday's game. Well,
Colton Browning is obvious guy that makes their offense go. He's just an unbelievable, what I call improviser. He'll scramble around and throw the ball, back across the field. He may throw it, 40 yards deep for a touchdown. And so we just got to be smart about containing him, and I think that's to be real important. But I do think that the game's going to come down to the physicality up front because they run a lot of blitzes and different fronts on defense. And, not only do we have to know who to block, but we got to be physical with them and to be able to have a chance to move the ball. And that's what we've got to do is kind of control the line of scrimmage on offense for sure and contain him on defense.
I'm going to throw out an old name from South Alabama with regard to Colton and see what you think because you grew up watching him, I'm sure. To me, he's the modern-day Snake Stabler.
Yeah, he really is. And people have asked me about him, and I compare him to Johnny Manziel a little bit in some ways. He's probably not quite that fast or that explosive with his arm, but he's the same type player, and he really is. He probably has an unbelievable one of the, I guess, football-savvy minds that I've ever seen watching him play. Guys will be blitzing him from behind, and it's almost like he has eyes in the back of his head. He'll take a step, and they'll miss him, and that's not. I mean, bottom line, that's not coaching. That's an innate ability that he has to make plays in games.
Yeah, he keeps the play alive, and I say Stabler because when you watched him, they called him the Snake because you didn't really think he was that fast or, for that matter, that athletic. But, boy, he was very athletic. He was athletic enough to make it happen, and he actually ran the ball at Alabama as well as he threw it. Now, people in the NFL that remember him from those old NFL film shots with the Raiders and the Oilers and Saints, they don't maybe appreciate that, but it's true. I mean, he was like that, and this kid is built, I think, the same way. Maybe Jim Zorn is another one that kind of comes to my mind that he reminds me of. But his leadership skills mean everything to that team. I mean,
they do.
He's the heart and soul of that football team.
No doubt. You could tell when he was hurt. You see him stand on the sideline. He's almost like a coach out there, and you could tell they were looking. Even when he wasn't playing, you could tell the kids were looking to him for leadership. And so, there's no doubt getting him back on the team has certainly helped them be successful.
Well, your guy Ross Matheny's been all over the place. What is it in total? I think the number's top 3 total offense, top 30 total offense in the country, and at the quarterback position. That's impressive. He's done it both ways too, and he'll run it just as quickly as he'll throw it to beat you. And that's the other thing that's impressive to me about him.
Yeah, and the thing that's impressive to me is how much improvement he's made from last year to this year. And I know some of the reasons why for what you're just saying, but he last year, I'll be honest, he was just I would have called him just an average quarterback. And this year he is really, really playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. He has a great desire to win. He's just a great leader. And he's playing, making completions and running the ball. And I mean, he's the reason why we've done so much better offensively this year.
Coach, just in the passing game and the weaponry, it looks like the ball's being distributed pretty well. He's getting it to different guys, and that's something that Todd Berry's team defensively is going to have to put up with.
Yeah, we try to do that. We try to call plays. There'll be certain plays you scheme and try to get to a certain guy, but for the most part, we call our plays and throw our routes based on coverage, and that's one thing Ross has done is he's been real smart and takes a 5-yard, doesn't try to force a 20-yard throw down the field where a guy's covered and he's got a guy wide open for 5. So he's been real disciplined with that, and so yeah, we have distributed the ball around, and that's really helped our offense.
Coach, when you look at what's in front of you now, the good news is 2 of the next 3 are at home. The other one's at Georgia State. I know you're living in the here and now, but you could wind up, think about it, if you can win out, you could be one of the most competitive 6-6 teams in Division I college football. I mean, you could.
Well, I'd like to think so, and I appreciate that you saying that. I could tell when I shake a coach's hand after a game whether I think he respects what we've done or not. I think that it's been been good there. I think the coaches are really can't believe we're this good this quick. So that's good to hear. That's good to hear. But we I want to win some ball games. So
I know it gets.
I'm all about that. So.
I know it gets old. I know those kinds of defeats can really wear on you during the course of a season. I'm guessing even as your days as a player, you didn't experience anything like this, and certainly as a head coach, it hurts a lot more than it would for the player.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that we had someone told me that I think Michigan State last year had a similar situation. I think they lost 4 games by 5 points or something like that, and then they turned around this year. Of course, we're not going to think about next year, but I mean, sometimes I don't see this happening very much, and certainly the first time it's ever happened in my career playing or coaching, but you would just like to have gotten a couple more there, just make everybody feel better. But it doesn't take anything away from the way our kids are prepared, and that just because they didn't make 2 or 3 plays, they have done so much to get this program where it is. I'm so proud of them for that.
I know you're living in a little bit of a vacuum, but I can't let you go without saying, in your lifetime, did you ever think that there would be an Iron Bowl game that would be this important with that much on the line as the one we're going to have a week from Saturday?
Well, the thing is, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I wouldn't have thought that either. Auburn's just played really well, and it's just great to see how well they played and knowing a lot of their coaches, and they just and they just had some great things happen. And that of course that catch last week against Auburn is that'll go down in Auburn history forever, and just a great play. You don't know what to say almost about it, but I tell you what, it was a great play, and they. From my standpoint, it's making this game with Alabama a lot more anticipated than maybe it once was early in the year.
Yeah, that's right. Joey, as a receiver, now people need to understand this, okay? You were one of the great receivers of your time, a sure-handed guy. And you weren't running many posts, you weren't running that many long, but you were probably only one of 2 or 3 guys ever in a pass pattern, though. So if you went out, there weren't 4 other guys usually. There was maybe 1 or 2. That was about it.
Right.
But when you see a play like that, it was almost to me, and I'd like just from a receiver standpoint to get your thoughts on it. it looked to me like Ricardo Lewis had given up on the play. It's a woeful pass. It's mightily underthrown. He's still sort of running, right, straight ahead. Kind of takes his eye off of it, but keeps running. The two Georgia defenders collide. One's going to intercept it. The other knocks it away, and the ball just kind of goes where it does. To his credit, okay, he puts his left arm up even after he had lost sight of the ball, and he feels the ball into his arms. And to me, that's an incredibly athletic play. Should we be giving him more credit for that part of the role that he played in bringing it in is my question to you. Okay.
It looked like to me that God put it in his hands.
Okay.
I mean, he just had to turn around and the ball is right there in his hands. I don't know. Certainly give him credit for making the catch. I'm not taking anything away from that. Gosh, the ball was, gets tipped anywhere else and the ball game's over. But it was, it's just one of those deals, kind of like the LSU Kentucky game, a couple years back, or a few more than a couple. But real similar type deal, and they're dumping water on the head coach on the sideline, but anyway, it was a heck of a catch, and it's something I know I'll remember, and I know certainly the Auburn fans remember.
Do you ever remember a catch that you even were surprised that you caught it? Did you ever have one, high school or college?
Yeah, it's kind of funny you ask. I have a picture in my I don't have any pictures of myself in my office, but other than one. It's just a catch that I made when I was with the Birmingham Stallions, and I laid out from the 7-yard line, dove, and literally the ball was on my fingertips. And the guy caught a picture of it when I was actually laying flat in the air.
Wow.
And it was just probably a better picture than it was a catch, but but it was a pretty good catch. I'll just never forget that. I kind of liken that to, just don't ever give up. And, if you try hard enough, good things to happen, that type of thing. Every time I look at that picture, it makes me think that way.
It wasn't against the Memphis Showboats, was it?
No, Orlando Renegades.
The Renegades. Lee Corso's team.
That's right.
Did it against Coach Corso. And did Cliff Stout throw it?
He did.
How about that? How about that? Ruba, how about that?
Good times.
Where were the chances I'd get that right? Huh?
Slim.
Yeah, there you go. Joey, thanks. It was great having you on, and good luck Saturday against ULM, okay?
Always great to talk to you, Tim. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Joey Jones back with more from the Chateau right after this.